So here's what happened. You guys all know Joe Legatti, the guy from Boston over there? He was yelling and screaming all last year through the event. In his defense, we did go about 11 hours over book. The next speaker here, our next speaker is a guy that I met a very, very long time ago. I've known him since I was a kid. He at one point got elected mayor of Lawrence. I still think it was the dumbest thing he ever did. Like, who the hell would want to be mayor of Lawrence? Sorry, dear Rivera. And when he got elected, he called me up, and we were sitting up in his office one day, and he said, he was reading the Tribune, and if you know Mike doesn't like to say a bad thing about anybody. Mike is like, Mussolini, yeah, he liked dogs though, you know, I mean, he wasn't really a bad guy. Like, Mike had never had anything bad to say about anybody. We're sitting in his office one day, and I told him, I have this idea, I want to start a newspaper. And everybody's laughing at me. I asked Patrick Blanchett, the council president, he laughed at me. I asked our state rep, I won't say who it was, Pat McGovern at the time, and she laughed at me. She's a state senator, actually. And no matter who I talked to, I said, I have this vision to write a newspaper where we just interview people, write down what they say, and I don't know, publish it. And Mike looked at me and he said, you know, if you do that, you're going to piss off every single elected official in the Merrimack Valley because they don't want you to tell the truth. So I think you should do it. He was one of the very first people who encouraged me, because nobody was encouraging me, to actually start the paper. And when we had our first edition came out, he called me up and said, I just picked it up, I want you to come up to the office. I love this story you wrote about the Lawrence School Department and the superintendent taking school board members out to dinner and charging the school department with your tax money. Why didn't the Tribune write this story? So from now on, I'm going to be your confidential source in City Hall, and he was. Ladies and gentlemen, my very good friend, Mike Sullivan.
Thank you, Tom. The best introduction I've had in 20 years by Mr. Duggan. I know a lot of you have followed this event for years and years, but my last year in office was 2009, and this was when the bash was starting to get bigger and bigger, and he said, you know, we'd be honored if you'd come as the mayor of the city and give greetings and speak a little bit about what's happening, and I came. 2010, I was out of office. My phone didn't ring. I kept waiting for that phone call. Didn't show up at the bash. The following year he says, you know, if you want to come, it's going to cost you $75 for a ticket. So I paid, I got in, I sat there, had a few drinks and watched everybody. The third year, and a lot of you were probably here, Tom says, we'd like you to be a speaker, but we want you to wear a mask. I don't know, were any of you here when I had the mask on? So now, the fourth year comes, and I said, Tom, how do I get on the speaking agenda? He says, it'll cost you $100 a minute. So I just wrote him a check for $350, and I got 3.5 minutes up here. So thanks, Tom. He's the smartest guy in the room, as always. Once again, it's so wonderful to see everybody here. This kind of continues on bigger than I think the St. Patty's Day Luncheon, which was always the big event in Lawrence. So I think now it's going to be the St. Patty's Day Valley Patriot Bash is going to be the place to be. But I had a lot of fun in office, worked with some great guys. A couple of them are here. One of them is going to give you the keynote speech, but I want to tell you, everybody, when you leave here today, go play Keno, because Mike Sweeney is here, the director of your lottery department in Massachusetts. Michael, good seeing you. Last year he won the Lifetime Achievement First Amendment Award, but I want to tell you a little bit about my best hire as mayor. And it's a person named Francisco Urena. And I want to just take a minute and tell you how smart of a mayor I was and why I hired him. In 2005, I was looking for an economic development director. The position was was open, and I was hearing a lot about this young kid that just came back from the war, and he's a war hero. He fought in Afghanistan, and his name is Francisco Urena. And I heard a lot about him. I would see him filming. He was working for the cable TV. And then I saw somebody's cell phone video of him. And I saw this person in this huge tank with a helmet on, a machine gun in front of him, and he was driving about 40 miles an hour on the worst terrain, which was Ames Street in Tower Hill. He had that tank going, drove right down to Essex Street, made a hard left turn, and I said, he's going to be my economic development director. With that bazooka and machine gun, he's going to be leveling some places in Lawrence. So anyways, the position was filled, and then Francisco ended up being more than anybody can imagine, the help that he's given to the veterans, not only in Lawrence at the time. He never saw a fence around any city or town. He was there to help everyone. Went on to serve Boston, and now we're proud of him as our Veterans Director, Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the state of Massachusetts. So, Sarge. So just to wrap up, I want to congratulate the Valley Patriot, your board of directors. You're at the point now where you're giving back. You're not only writing great stories and great articles, but you're giving back. You're giving some great scholarships. You're honoring people that really need to be honored. So it's great to see you, Tom, where you've come over the last 20 years, and you continue to fight the good fight. And now I'd like to introduce the person who's got the toughest job in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Where's Mayor Dan Rivera? Mayor Rivera, come on up. So in 7 more years, he'll be not only bald, but he'll be as gray as me as well. So, Mayor Rivera.
And thanks for kicking Willie Lantigua's ass not once, but twice.
Don't be funny, Tommy. Honestly, how about another round of applause for our former mayor, Mike Sullivan, great guy. It's too bad they already gave me a shout out to my man Mike Sweetie, because Mike's a great guy. And he's great that he's working for the state in Francisco. What I call the rice and beans success story. Great thing for having you here. Again, just come to bring you greetings from the city. Thank you all for being here today. Tommy, thank you for continuing to make it the bane of my existence to walk to the newspaper stand when they let you put one out.
No more fines.
Yeah, no more fines. Just tickets. And I'm sad that you didn't enjoy my jokes from St. Patrick's Day.
I was defending the Tribune because I love them so much.
I said the Tribune should talk to Tommy about how to get a scoop, right? Because you're always scooping them. And then I said maybe that the Tribune should help Tommy with his grammar and competition. He didn't think it was that funny. It's not that funny now. It wasn't that funny then. They were a lot drunker than at St. Patrick's Day, so drink up. Things will get funnier here too. So I'm not going to be long. I do have some stuff to present to some of the award winners this evening. We'll do that along with everybody else. I am the recipient of the support and the butt kicking of the Valley Patriot. And when you win by 81 votes, everyone that helped, either by saying you're not going to win, because that motivated a lot of people to come out and help, or by editorializing in support of a candidacy that no one thought could ever win. And so, Tommy, I share that feeling with you of people thinking that you can't succeed. And then you go out there and you show them. That's what you've been doing with this newspaper. So it's a pleasure to see you as a colleague and the things we do in government. Is that Brad Jones? My first Scoutmaster ever, Brad Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Platoon exchange. Troop 16 at St. Mary's taught me how to be a Boy Scout. Thank you so much, Brad. That's a shock. I didn't know he was going to be there. Anyhow, I'm going to get down from here. Enjoy the evening. Tommy, thank you for everything you do. Am I supposed to invite somebody up? Should I give some? Puppy girls, ladies and gentlemen. Puppy girl.
Thank you, Dan. Yes. Okay, just quickly reminding everybody to get your raffle tickets.